future visions for a decolonized future of human-computer interaction is an initial investigation about decolonization of imagination. We asked how web content and the results provided by artificial intelligence is colonizing the imagination. First, participants were asked to answer questions illustrated with propaganda from the beginning of 20th century to now, mainly produced by tech industry. Those propaganda imagine the future in different scenarios like autonomous vehicles in the 60s or virtual transmissions in the beginning of 20th century and holograms screens as holograms in the beginning of the 21st century and so on. So after looking at those questions and answering, trying to think historically where or ancestors like mother, father, grandmother, grandmother or grandfather, etc. would be in that space, and if they would think of the future like that, participants were asked to go to the web or to AI and provide what would be the ideas of the future for the city, the trade, education, and so on. Our group is a very diverse group from different ages and ethnicity and different colors, and we are mainly located at big cities. So after going through those this process, we found, for example, for the future of the cities, most of participants were finding either in the AI or in the web with the keywords some scenarios that could be similar to each other. Like one of these pictures made by AI, another one is found in the web, in the conversation. So sometimes the participants, they did not communicate with each other, but sometimes it looked like a storytelling. For example, one participant found this AI result where people are living in a very precarious place with nothing, but they could be imagined of this fantastic house in that another participant provided as a way of living in the future. Another possibility also found is like big buildings and very modern buildings, expensive buildings with expensive flats but very tiny spaces. So this is also contradictory for places with high inequality. People could not afford to live in a modern building, even if it's a very tiny, very small space. And anyway, it might not represent different ways of living and occupying the space in the urban space. And another finding, which all this of course looks very obvious, but every time we go to the web or to the AI with different prompts or keywords, it's always surprising that it does not change much for even if we keep seeing this. For example, communication, it's a value among humans to communicate. Of course, not only humans communicate, but it shows more interfaces and less of communicating in different ways. And The same with art, like we could think of art as people dancing and playing and singing in the streets and living in community, but the future of art, it's also more, if we look the results in the web, it will be more the relation with new technologies and new possibilities of technologies. Is the same with the transport. It's more thinking of fantastic machines that can make people fly, like since the Renaissance with Leonardo da Vinci sketches. So we are still, so there are other ways of thinking of the transport, the same of health. It's always thought of softwares and interconnections among computers and specific devices that can be interesting, but it might not fit a lot of territories, and it might conflict also with the needs and of investments in healthcare in different places. And if we think about the future of food, of course, some people thought food could be only pills or things like that, but there's this aesthetic thing which is very present, thinking of food as a plastic thing, and the AI presented this result as a warehouse. Also other results shows like interesting devices that could help growing vegetables and things like that. So one important thing is to think is imagine the future is shaping the future, but imagine the future like doing speculative design and things like that, it might be too sophisticated for people who are living day by day with a lot of inequalities. So we are missing the data from the people, because of course people can dream of a better life, a better house, a nice job, and different things, but projecting the future is something that we are missing. For this experiment, it's important to say that there were few participants, all researchers, well educated. So this is a kind of a starting model to apply for different groups. It's always intriguing when one participant, for example, typed black adults in the classroom, and then we see these kind of sad faces. So this is intriguing. And all these results, for example, like human AI relationship is as a communication, and then we have this sexy interaction. So this is another thing is the human category come as white most of the time, and so what we have still is these ideas. For example, I typed people staring at each other, communicating through EEG, and then you see it's all white people with EEG, and not all of them are staring at each other anyway. So a doctor having tea with patients. So what we want to provoke with this initial work is we need to create new ways to collect data responsibly, and to create a database that can represent not just underrepresented groups, but the society as it is, like multi-diverse and plural and multicultural. So thank you very much.